Hello everyone and welcome back to round 6 of our One Piece Limited Deck Battle, brought to you by TAC and streamed to you by Double Sleeved. If you're new to the channel, we've got all of the One Piece videos from today's event up on our YouTube, and today we have round 6. It is Kaido versus Croc.
We had the same match last round. The Croc player was actually in round 5 on the stream, and we've got a new Kaido player here. So we definitely know Croc player knows how to deal with purple. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Great to see as well. We've got the playmat from the actual starter deck. So it's for anyone who doesn't know what the zones are, you can see clearly there it has a full breakdown of where your stage is supposed to go, where your deck goes, where your Don goes, and so on. So really good for any new players to use that as a base, and then when you're more comfortable, you can go into more customizable playmats.
Yep, and all areas available on both players' screens, which is really good. So we're going to be able to see everything labeled out quite clearly, and looks like we're going to see a dice roll to decide who goes first. And like you said, this Croc player played against Kaido in round 5 and is probably pretty comfortable with the matchup at this point. They know their strategy. We're nearing close to the final rounds. This is where it starts getting serious. You know, both players undefeated. We're on table 1 here. You're getting a little shaky. You're getting a little nervous. You can see the end in sight. You're only a couple of wins away from taking down this first event.
Absolutely, and like these are the really exciting matches because every play you make is now going to really matter. Because if you make the wrong play here, you could lose your chance of taking that top spot. And these guys aren't playing out for top 32. They want those prize cards that are available only in today's event at this point in time. Like they're key cards that you want to have for your collection, and you want to say that you've earned them the right way.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, each move is so critical, especially when you're coming up against another experienced player. In round 1, you might get away with a couple of mistakes here and there. You know, you're warming up. Your player might not pull you up on it and punish you. But both of these players have made it through 5 rounds without losing. They're going to punish you for mistakes that you make.
Absolutely. We've come out a little bit longer in terms of how long the stream's been going, but coming up for these players, 7 hours of gameplay, where there's been that high pressure situation. Probably not much time to stop and have food. Obviously they're at home, so they might have a few creature comforts there. We see our blue player is staying hydrated, which is good to see. But it's really challenging when you're playing these events and you're going, a lot of these games are going to time because they're new decks, new cards, new game. Everyone's still figuring out how this meta works. I know people have been practicing for it, but you're starting to talk about fatigue, you're starting to talk about hunger, hydration. It all plays a part in making those critical decisions.
Yeah, and being a best of 3 as well just adds another element to it as well. You know, you can get lucky in a best of 1, see all the cards you need, and close out the game from there. But in a best of 3, it's more skill oriented, I feel personally, because it's more of a challenge to win 2 games out of 3 than it is to win just the 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
But blue player kicking us off, 1 Don, no plays there, but Kaido will utilize his 2 Don and play Sheepshed.
Nice quick plays here.
Yeah. Swinging lead. Hope to see a Sentomaru come down.
Thinking about the 3.
There
we go. Yep. Perfect.
Now, ideally, we want to see that stage card come down for Kaido.
Be great to see both players getting optimal turns.
Yeah, we want to see both players playing at their absolute peak for this round 6. Starting off with a swing from Sheepshed, 5k. We know this blue player. We know that he likes to counter out and stay alive. So we're going to see a counter here, I'm almost certain.
Absolutely. It's great for these players who are watching or people who are interested in playing this game, learning from these guys who have obviously been practicing and mastering their craft and getting to know this game inside and out. So you're learning from people who have done really well in these events. These guys are undefeated. Learn from the best.
Yeah. Exactly, and opts to take that life, so not countering out, perhaps just doesn't have the cards in hand or wants to keep what he has. Let's see whether he decides to take this one or... Yep, there's the counter. Showing it's the Jinbei. Goes to the drop area. Still some Dawn inactive for Kaido. And there it is.
There's the stage.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Gets that ramp and is going to continue to do so every turn following as well. We'll see a pass here. And
That's
up
it.
to 5 Dawn.
Once that stage is established, you just know that you're going to keep seeing those effects going off, but there's not really that same punishment as if you don't have it out there.
Exactly, yeah. Some of these -1s, they're almost free at this point, or at a cost of resting a Don. But we see a 7k, nope, a 6k swing.
6k? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Into the sheep
going
shed.
into the, yep.
We'll see a Pacifista coming out here. There's the 1, there's the 2. Search the deck, count your Pacifista.
That's it. You want to know exactly how many you have in deck, how many times you can make this play, how many times you need to protect this card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a great play to swing into the sheep shed, remove it from board, and start establishing your own.
Oh, look, there it is, the only one I saw.
Just 46 cards of Pacifista and then 4 Centimari. That's all you need.
Yep.
There is a couple of other Pacifistas coming out, I believe, in set 2 that are blockers as well. Still have the same traits and everything, so you can utilize them with the Centamaru. So it'll give you a couple more options to play. I believe the Pacifista in set 2, you can also have as many copies in the deck as you want. So perhaps that 46 Pacifista isn't out of reach.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see as obviously more cards come out with the same character names. It will really change up the meta and make some of these cards that might not be as viable now, they'll be more viable in the future, and we can see the meta change completely.
Yeah, we see the swing with the Centamaru and the super counter out. So perhaps there's not that many Pacifistas in deck, and an easy counter out there with a 6k attacking.
Could potentially have another one in hand ready to go. So, you know, almost betting out, remove this, and I don't care because I can play out another one next turn.
Exactly. I'll protect my life. It can absorb an attack, and I'll spend the 3 Don next turn and establish another one.
Almost an indirect block, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
A bit hard to see the purple player's life there, having all the black sleeves.
Yeah, I believe 1 damage has been dealt. Actually, no, I don't think any has been dealt because the first attack went into the sheep shed. Second attack was counted out, so purple player should still be at 5 life. We'll do our best to keep track of that life. It is a bit difficult to see, as Gary mentioned, but a healthy hand size. Just deciding what play we want to take this. Our blue players got an established board. They've got the Centimaro that they want to see. Pacifista's coming in next turn, coming in hot for 6k at a minimum. And it looks like we're just going to Barracuda Bomber right here for 6 John. So we are KOing the Pacifista. And
nice and early.
Adding a Don inactive to our Don deck, to the Don area.
Recognizing the position, knowing that there may not be as many in deck, and there might be a threat if you get rid of it early enough. Yeah. You're not going to see too many coming down.
Yeah, and we'll just swing 7k, I assume, into Centimaro. We see the super counter there, and 2 other 1-cost counters as well.
Really having to opt now to save that card.
Yeah, just for that 1 swing.
So going in. 3 cards in hand.
Yeah, that 1 swing costs you 3 cards. But Centimaro does stick around, does live to see another day. Purple didn't establish any board. They did a good job at removing the Pacifista, but now it's Blue's turn to show them what their deck can do.
And really showing the risk of what happens when you do swing with a card that you want to protect.
Yep. And Blue had the cards in hand. He was willing to protect it to keep this card on field. I guess perhaps there's Pacifistas in the deck that he wants to continue to play out, but a heavy cost to protect that Sentomaru.
Coming with a leader swing with no buff.
Yep, which we have seen quite a bit from this blue player.
The counter out 1k, the page one.
And Pacifista is coming back. You tap 6 to remove my Pacifista. I'll tap 3 and bring it back.
It's still got 4 Don in active mode, so be interesting to see what players are going to be coming with that 4 Don, if he's going to opt to leave a couple in active mode for an event card, or if he's going to opt to pump again like he did last turn. But I'll say after that last turn, he'll probably opt to keep it in active mode.
Yeah, I would say so as well. We could see some blockers come down here, perhaps leaving 2 Don up for an event card or something. But nope, we're just going to swing Sentomaru.
It's looking to go quite aggressive compared to how he went last round. So almost seeing a different approach to literally not that long ago.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I thought perhaps he'd keep the Don up for the event cards to protect the Sentomaru, but it looks like we're tapping 4 here. Gecko Moria, so we're going to pick up a card, probably the Mihawk. There it is, the super counter, back to hand. So we've got that defense available to protect our Sentomaru. And now that we get into these later rounds, we start seeing the high level plays here of how far they can push their deck. These decks are limited to the card pool that you have available, but these players they've tested, they've done the battles, they've played the super pre-release, they've gotten the cards, and now they're showing their skills here.
So we're up to 10 Don now for purple. We've had that ramp coming through, so I think we might be all the way. Looks like he's at 10.
I believe so. Yeah, it's a bit difficult to see. We don't see anything in the Don deck, so assuming that he's using the placement on the playmat, then I would say we're at 10.
We've got the 5k leader with no buff, and then opting to counter out.
Yeah.
So that would have been a swing into the leader.
Yep. And then 9-drop Kaido calming down. I assume you remove the Pacifista here. You swing into the Sentomaru. 2 birds, 1 stone.
It's a very good card to establish as soon as possible.
Yeah. Getting that Don back from the stage.
Don't really lose too much.
Yeah. Deciding what to do with his 1 Don. Oh, bit of a face cam on blue player. And we see here again another player with the same coloured sleeves from deck to Don area. Now, I would recommend all players in future to separate the Don. I believe it may be a requirement as well that your Don deck is in separate sleeves to distinguish the two. So something to be mindful of, especially in these online and webcam events. It just makes it a lot easier to establish which card is which. And as predicted, Pacifista is gone. Kaido will swing. Sentomaru is gone.
And remove that threat. They definitely did mention in the Discord they are going to be cracking down on camera positions and sleeves a little bit more in the future. They are trying to not crack down on some of those rules while we are technically still in the pre-release window for this card game, because set 1 hasn't officially released yet. So in the future they will be a lot stricter, so make sure invest in extra sets of sleeves. The more you play, you realize you need to go through a whole ton of sleeves in your trading card careers anyway.
Exactly, and we've got a bit of time between these kind of events as well. Set 1 comes out in December. You can be pretty confident that we're not going to see an online event until 2023. So you've got the time. Invest in a camera, invest in some sleeves and a playmat if you want to continue into playing. And well, you don't necessarily need a playmat, but it looks nice if you want to continue playing in these online events. That's a big bump, big boost onto the Gecko Moria, and we see a who's who trigger off the life. 9k into leader.
Something we've seen this Croc player do before, he's not afraid to use that Don to really pump up his characters and leader card to put in some big swings.
Yeah.
He doesn't just opt for the 1 or 2, he opts for the whole stack.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
Another trigger off the life?
Yep, it definitely looks like it. So I believe we saw the Brachio Bomber.
Yeah, and that's fallen onto the floor.
Yeah, so that trigger allows him to add a Don from his Don deck and set it as active mode. So some ramp off the trigger. I think just establishing.
Fell off.
Yeah. Keep my hand in view. I'm just picking up this card, just so you're aware.
Mm-hmm.
One hand.
The other hand.
There's the Brachio Bomber.
Nice and clean.
Yep.
Really good to see that in an online event as well, because
please don't drop it again.
we have seen some people reach up before, but I don't think any of these players are trying to do anything like that.
Yeah, we see.
And we see the blocker.
Yeah, purple player just wants to be crystal clear. There is no doubt at all what's happening. You know,
there's nothing up my sleeves.
Exactly. It's all in my shoes. Blockers established. Back to purple's turn. We should be going to 8 Don here. Or possibly more with the trigger as well, actually. So we might even be getting up to 8 or 9. I think just establishing the amount of Don and explaining.
We're up to 10.
Yeah. So they're going through it. There was the -5 for the Kaido, +1 for the stage, +1 for the Brachio Bomber. Puts you at 7, so we should be at 9 Don for the purple player. Yep, then there we go. That is the correct game state. 3 life for purple. And just a handful of cards in hand. I think both players at 4.
At 4 life or 4 cards in hand?
4 cards in hand. I believe purple should be at 3 life at this point.
Definitely hard to keep track of.
Yeah, because we had the Who's Who trigger and we had the Brachio Bomber trigger. Yeah, and another Who's Who comes down, so looks like Trafalgar Law is out of here. Forget your blocker.
There's no saving you this turn.
And a king. So both cards are going to get removed here. And we've got a Kaido. 2 Kaidos comfortably swinging into leader. The -1 for the king. The Nigashima Island to get that Don back. Good plays from purple. Oh, careful of that drop area.
Yeah, you can see the purple is really good at controlling the board. As much as blue is known for its control so far, purple's doing a really good job of managing those board states too.
Yeah. Some couple of lucky hits with the triggers as well. Just being able to get the KO, get the extra Don, and things like that. It's going to happen. You can only do so much when there's a bit of a randomness input into these games and triggers and things like that. But doing the best with what he's got.
Got Leader coming in now. No buff, 5k to 5k, opting to counter out.
Yep. And then a 10,000 Kaido. Deciding whether he wants to counter out, probably not on this one. I think he'll take that life. And that should be a pass. I believe all Don available to the blue player as well.
Yep.
There it is.
That's it, yep. So we've got 10 available.
Both players at 3 life.
Small hand size, but we know the Croc player here doesn't really mind a small hand size and manages to bounce back really quickly.
Yep.
Opting to pump to an 8k swing, going for life. Looks like down to 1. Didn't really check for a trigger on that one.
Yeah, it does look like 1 life, but we see the Don Flamingo come down, bouncing back the king. Perhaps I've missed a life, but yeah, unless they're stacked up on top of each other, but we should be able to distinguish when that next life is taken, either at 1 or 2.
Yeah, it could be across to the side a little bit, just off camera there.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things like you remove the threat by bouncing a card back to hand, but you also give a little bit of counter power too. So you've really got to balance which cards you are bouncing at when the right time. You go, are they a threat to you? Are they better in your opponent's hand than on the board?
Yeah. Another 9-drop Kaido right now would be devastating.
Mm.
Just to be able to have those two 10,000 power cards that can constantly swing.
I would say they'll put the purple player in a very comfortable spot.
Yeah.
So back up to 10 Don. You'd think he would opt to do a few swings first and see where he lands.
Mm-hmm. We don't have anything that can KO this Don Flamingo, being a 7 cost, which is good. But there's no blocker on that card, so we're just operating with the counters that we have in hand, and we're going to pump up the Who's Who. It looks like swinging for 5k.
Choosing to counter or not. Looks like he wants to.
Yeah, just doing the math, just calculating what's coming, how much Don do you have, what's available, what have I seen, going through all the statistics and everything, and super countering out.
Yeah, nice. But using the super counter also gives a little bit of insight into what's in his hand. Obviously doesn't want to go down to that 2 life because it feels like he'll put him in a pretty poor position.
Yeah, continuing to put the pressure on. Who's Who again. And we're
going
to take that one. Yeah.
Hoping for the trigger.
There it is.
And gets one.
Yep, that is huge. Feels so
Sometimes
good to get
you
these
thank
blockers.
the card gods.
Yeah, exactly. It just feels good to be good.
Absolutely. Definitely changes plays a little bit.
Yeah. Just trying to decide what he should do. He's doing the math in his head. Snapping his fingers. We could see the king come down again just to remove that blocker. It looks like it.
Still a healthy amount of Don to play with too. But high pressure sequencing situation coming up.
Yeah.
Where this next play could choose whether you are putting yourself in kill range or if you're going to actually set yourself up to win the game.
Yeah. And do you know how much time we have left at this round?
Yes, sir, I do. We're coming up to the 37-minute mark, so still plenty of time left to go in this round.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. So we should be able to get 3 games should it get that far. We're still in game 1 here, but both players playing with some good speed, and we start getting to the end game here of game 1. Taking their time here, they know that this is a critical point of the game. How much pressure can I put on? What's my best strategy here? My opponent has 1 blocker, not that many cards in hand.
This is what's great about this game. You saw the confidence of the purple player. He was in. He was ready to go. All right, I'm going to put all this pressure on. I'm going to almost get my opponent to within kill range, and then bang, straight off of a trigger, getting that blocker, flip the whole game on its head.
Yeah, I assume you go for the king that your opponent bounced back to your hand, and you just remove that blocker. But it looks like you're just going to decide to swing. It's a 9k leader, I believe, and there's the block.
Big pump.
Yeah. So I guess you just want to keep that 2 Don as defense. You don't want to see a situation where your opponent puts 5 Don under leader, 5 Don under Don Flamingo, and if you're at 1 life, you're punished. And it looks like it is 1.
Almost feels like that was I forgot the blocker was there sort of play.
Potentially, yeah. Opting not to swing with the Kaido. Limiting our opponent's hand. I can't kill you, but I'm just going to give you less resources to kill me with.
Gaining no more Don, 10 being the maximum in this game. And really mapping out this next play.
Yeah, yep. I don't think going for game here is the right play. I think the players realised that as well by only putting 2 Don under the leader. We'll put pressure on, and depending on what happens here, will dictate what happens with this Don Flamingo attack. If you take it, well, then I'll put the rest of my 8 Don under my Don Flamingo, but I'm going to force you to counter out here. So there's the Blast Breath. Yep. Most likely holding another one in hand, which is why he kept that 2 energy, 2 Don, apologies, inactive. So now we switch to a bit more of a defensive turn. We can't win this turn. Let's survive the next.
So, pumping by 4,000. So he's got a base of 7,000, so up to 11k.
Yeah.
You'll say going into the leader here.
Yep. And then we may see some lore, or perhaps leaving some Don up for event cards.
Potentially leader skill.
Yep. You're bouncing back a Who's Who that doesn't have any counter. Can't KO this Don Flamingo, but you don't want to play a blocker and then...
taking the life.
Yeah.
Looks like he's definitely down to 1 now.
Yeah. All right, we're playing 3.
And there's a blocker for the next turn and another blocker.
Double blocker. All right. We know that there's a king in hand. The potential to remove 1. Oh, tough decision here. This is going to be an interesting kind of couple of turns. This purple player's turn and the following blue can really end the game here.
Oh, this is where the purple player can really map out and plan their sequencing, because blue's only got 1 card in hand. It's all going to depend on what triggers off of that life.
Yeah.
If you pump to the right number and hit that sweet spot, he's not going to be able to counter out.
Yeah, exactly. Perhaps we see... You've got the 2 blockers, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, so we're going to definitely see the 2 blocks. I would say you're going to go in with those smaller character cards first. Try and bait out those blockers, pumping them just to the right sweet spot where they'll go through.
I think that's just too much Don. I don't think there's enough Don to play with to utilise and close out this game. You need to put 3 under both Who's Who to get them to 6k to deal any damage. Looks like we've got a trigger. Another blocker, or could we see an event card that can bounce it back the other Who's Who?
This is really interesting.
You don't have any Don available. If you're going to trigger, now's the time.
And this, you can really tell, does he need that counter power on this card, or can he play it?
I assume that you still play it.
It goes to hand.
Yep, opting not to.
That's what I mean. So he's still got 2 blockers, but if he does the right number of pump on this low character card, the blocker is still going to get through 1, but you've got 2 big cards you could potentially get through. So you can pump the leader, but you've got a really big battle card out there already.
Yeah. Separates his Don. I would love to know what that card was. Hopefully we get to see it, and we get to see what difference it would have made.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was on the top or bottom of his hand.
I believe it'd be the one closest to him.
You can see the math. The math is happening.
Yeah. A really pivotal point of this game right now.
Keep in mind the leader also has the ability to burn that life as well.
Yeah, it is a -7 effect, so you will have 3 Don available.
It's going to be punishing if he goes for it.
Let's say you play the king. You pop one of the blockers. You do your -7. You put your 3 Don underneath your leader. You swing for 8. Potentially force that last blocker, or your opponent has to combo out. If they use the blocker, you've got the Kaido. I think that's probably your best bet. Depending on what's in hand.
It all depends on what counter power he has in hand.
Exactly, but I think that's your only bet to win this game, or your best situation to win the game. If you pass, you lose. There's the card there. He's a little shaky. He's not sure if he wants to commit to this, but if it's
I'd say that's the king.
I think that's the right play. Blue players, he's waiting. He's comfortable. Show me what you got. You either got me or you don't.
Is a bait.
Yeah. You either make the right play
and,
or enjoy watching the stream and me playing round 7.
and if he bounces the law doesn't have any counter power, so it's going to be a dead card in hand.
Yeah. Well, he can't bounce on the purple. He's only going to be able to KO.
That's right. I'm talking about the wrong colour. Never mind me. Today's my first day.
He's opted against it. He's not sure.
I think he has to go for it.
Yeah, I agree. This is your chance here. What counter cards do you have in hand? Do you have enough? Or do you win the following turn?
There is a numbered Luffy card on the line.
Yeah, and is that a scoop?
Who scooped? Purple?
I think purple scooped.
I think he scooped. I still would have gone for it. If I'm being honest, I would have just seen how it panned out.
Absolutely. Like the blue player had 2 or 3 cards in hand, no Don available. If some of those are event cards, you win the game right there. Like we know that he had the king in hand. We saw it get bounced back.
I'm really curious if that was the purple scoop.
Yeah.
I'll say it was. It looked like it was.
Well, no cards were revealed from the blue player's hand. The blue player had 2 blockers available. There's no way that the blue player scooped.
I don't think he would have.
I don't understand why the purple player did. Perhaps they just didn't feel that they had it, but you got to take that chance. You've got the 6 of energy available to play the king, do the -7, and put the 3 Don underneath your leader. And see if you can win the game there. That's an 8k swing. That's the critical one, because if your opponent can't counter out of the 8k, well, they have to block, and they definitely can't counter out of the 10k Kaido.
And that's the thing, when you don't know what's in your opponent's hand, not every single one of these cards has counter power. He could have event cards in his hand that are dead in hand. That's why he's not tapping out and playing those. So I really feel like he should have pushed at that point.
Yeah. And that could be, just fatigue. We don't know. We don't know what was in either player's hands, but yeah.
Definitely nerves kicking in, I think, in that instance too.
Yeah, it is unfortunate to see. Both players saw the cards that they needed. Both were playing extremely well. We want to see the game get closed out. Who has the most counter, the most life, and things like that. I would have preferred to have seen him push.
I'm not going to lie, I'm really excited to see this game 2 of this round, because I think it's going to be really interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Both players very experienced. They know what they're doing. Perhaps a slight, little misplay at the end there from purple, but let's see if he can bounce back. So
just with a time check, we have 27 minutes left in this round, so still plenty of time to get a second and potentially even start the third game.
Yeah. Hopefully we see it a bit quicker. Blue is wasting no time. 1 Don, 1 blocker. Here's my law. Over to you. Bang. Sheepshed. 2 Don. Let's go. We're going to finish this game in 10 minutes.
Croc Play is almost playing with a sense of urgency like he's a game down, though,
Exactly.
which is really interesting.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they tell us who won?
We did see the blue player go first. So perhaps purple opted to go second. We got the swing and a life take. Sentamaru, bang, there it is.
Bang on
Over
3.
to you.
Nice. See you next turn.
See my pacifista next turn.
All right, this is where we want the stage to come out.
Yeah, the same play as last time. Sheepshed for 5, leader for 5, stage.
Stage for the other 3.
Yeah. Let's go.
I really like how he's not opting to tap the 3 straight away and reveal his hand, know what's coming.
Yeah. And, who's who? All right, no worries. Let's get rid of a Sentamaru here. Slow down your plays.
It's definitely a very good play.
Yeah. You're comfortable with that. you're on Nigashima Island on turn 3. That's fine. You've stopped a Pacifista coming down and potentially a swing with the Sentomaru, like we saw in game 1.
Definitely the Croc play. You could see that little bit of resistance in putting it to the drop. Didn't really want to have that card go just yet.
Yeah, I think he, just like us, thought that stage was coming down. He had the turn mapped out. He was planning his next turn, and then boom, Who's Who came down and changed the layout.
1, 2, 3, 4, and guess who's coming out?
Yeah, so we've seen a super counter from purple, and Marshall D. Teach hits the field, bounces back a 3 or less. So that Sheep Shed is back to hand. You don't want to send the Who's Who back at this point, because that just gives another KO.
Especially with that blocker, you want to protect that blocker as much as possible.
Yeah, it is critical against some of these Kaido and King cards that can be really strong. But we're going to swing with the Who's Who. Again, another 5k swing. Another counter out, and that's a super counter right there.
Really interesting how he obviously used a super counter against some of those 5k swings where he doesn't need that extra 1,000 power. Unless he's got the ability to get that back from his drop. Is he doing it because he can recycle it anyway, or is he doing it because he really wants to keep those other cards in hand, doesn't want to lose them?
Yeah, we'll see on this turn whether the Gecko Moria comes down. Laying out the Don. We don't have a Sentomaru. We don't have a Pacifista on the field. We're going to swing 5k.
For the Croc without the buff.
Yep, into the Who's Who.
Yeah, removing that threat.
Yep.
It's done enough damage. I don't want to see it do any more.
Yeah. I wonder if you swing Marshall D. Teach into the Who's Who instead. It's a 4k into a 3k, and save that 5k swing into leader. And that
or
way,
you could just pump by 2 and do a 6k swing into leader.
Yeah. But I mean,
I think it would have been the better. If you're going to swing with him anyway, swing the small guy into the other small guy.
Yeah.
And then keep your leader high.
Exactly. If you wanted to swing a 6k into this leader here, it would have only cost you 1 Don as opposed to 2.
Yeah, and you can see now, opting to defend with 2 cards, but only 5 cards left for the Croc player in his Don. Tapping 5.
There's the SR. So no Don underneath it to get the on-block effect, but that's fine since there's no 2 cost or less on the field. But 4 life from purple to 3 life on blue. And Queen comes down.
I guess the benefit of doing that leader swing first without the pump, if you're pumping the character card first, you're sort of showing exactly what your plays are going to be. It's a little bit of that unknown.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the purple player could be thinking he's not going to swing with his Marshall. You know, he's just going to leave it in active mode. I'll let the Who's Who die, and then suddenly, bang, 6k swing at lead. And you're like, well, I don't want to take this damage. I don't want to go down to 3. I've got to counter out.
Yeah, he knows what's in his hand. He knows he can tap the 5 comfortably. He doesn't want to keep anything else in active mode.
Yeah.
So 4 cards in hand for the Croc player. Can't see how many for a purple player.
Yeah. We see the block on the Croc SR and then a promo Croc countering out. Black Maria, the blocker coming down, double blocker on field, and we should see a pass here.
Something that this deck does really well. Like we've obviously seen every deck has its blockers, but I feel like purple's blockers just have that little bit more in terms of how tall they go, and you can get a lot more out.
Yeah, and when you've got the ramp abilities of purple, paying 5 doesn't feel as bad, especially when it draws you 2 cards. You discard 1, generally is another stage, which is dead in hand, and suddenly it's very high value. You do want to utilize the block on the Black Maria here, being a 2 cost. If we do get a Don underneath our Croc SR, that blocker is bottom decked very quickly. Taking a life 3 each here.
Definitely why you want to keep it out.
So much Don to play with.
Tapping 4.
Gecko Moria.
Yeah.
Here's my super counter. There you go.
It's back to hand.
Read that. 2000 it says. Back to hand.
Is he going to opt to play? So something he has been doing before. He likes to put it back to hand and then play it out straight away.
But opting to do another Gecko Moria. Are we picking up another one? Have we seen 2? I don't believe so.
Now at the maximum character count on field.
Yeah. So it looks like we're just going to pick up the Edward Weevil instead, which is just a 3-drop skillless for 5k. Establishing a 5k on the field, we're picking up another counter. Let's get that Don underneath our blocker to remove the Black Maria on block. And we've got a super counter in hand to protect our Croc.
Was that a pass without leader swing?
Yeah, I believe it was. Yep. Perhaps just knows that the block's coming, but 9-drop Kaido easily removing that Croc SR. Yeah, the blue player already knows it.
So I think that's where if you start playing out cards before you do your swings, you're really showing your opponent what's going to happen. Whereas if you swung with that leader card first, could have potentially bailed out another block or let that damage go through. Whereas when you know that your opponent's tapped all their Don, you just got to block with the 6k blocker and you're safe.
Exactly, yeah. And one card can be a massive difference, especially as we start getting later on into the game. But countering out
2 life.
And a trigger, another blocker coming down. This blue player has been gifted with the triggers off the Hancock.
He has been praying to the trading card gods and hit 2 triggers. We've barely seen any all day, and in this one round alone, we've seen it twice.
Yeah. And we saw a couple of triggers from the purple player in game 1 as well. We saw a Who's Who. We saw a Baracchio Bomber. You know, both players getting quite lucky with their triggers. And now you've got 5 battle cards on field. You want to swing with your Gecko Morias before you start playing cards just to get full value out of them.
And looking to pump the leader by 2k at the moment.
Gonna play something, really not sure what they want to do. Alright, we're gonna... Yeah, we've decided. We're putting 2 under Marshall. We're swinging at you for 6.
He got a base of 4k?
Yeah.
So put him in a position where you really need to choose your blocker if you're going to do it. Opting to take the life, I believe, down to 2 left in life.
Yep. Alright, there's a Sable. We are
true,
going to
yeah.
bounce that Queen back.
We've got both blockers going back to hand.
Yep, and we are not done with
After
our turn.
leader ability, putting the other one back.
And that's a 6k swing at leader.
Now, it does have a good hand size at the moment, so you should be able to comfortably counter out of most of these attacks.
Yeah.
But you would think you would at least be pumping a little bit. So you can see 2 cards there to counter out. Another pump here for another swing. And it's just going to try and dwindle that hand size down now.
Yep, and I assume
Not
we
really
leave that
expecting to do damage.
Yeah, we'll leave that 2 Don up for an event card. Down to 1.
Taking that life.
Yeah. Both players may be at 1 here. It's hard to see the blue player whether there's 2 still.
I believe there is 2. I think one has just been pushed a little bit out of camera view.
Yeah, I think you're right. Still a comfortable position for blue. You've got your 2 blockers available. You've got your 2 Don that you're going to put on the leader and swing for 7. Does purple counter out here?
So no event cards coming in the defensive turn. We are coming down to 16 minutes left in round. Still a little bit of time left. Purple player going to lose his drop again.
Yep. Wow.
Having to use 3 cards to counter out of that attack.
Yeah. For those that don't know, we're in game 2 at the moment. As switching to purple's turn. As we slowly approach 8 hours of this stream. Shout out to everyone that's been here since round 1 as we start moving towards the end game of this One Piece Limited Deck Battle event. It's been a great time. We've seen a lot of different decks. No red, unfortunately, but Who's Who is played. One blocker is gone. Just confirming which one they want to hit, and Law is out of here. Swinging 5k into lead. Countering out, just confirming it's a 5k attack. Before you... Yep. Alright, super countering out.
This is where that camera angle could be a little bit confusing. He may think that his opponent's at 1 life left.
Yeah.
He's opting to remove the board presence instead, so probably not too detrimental.
Gone. And we get a blocker down. And, okay, we've established
there you go. You
that
can see
there's 2 life. There we go. A lot more clearer now. Perhaps they've got the stream on the side. And we're back to the blue player's turn. We've got 1 blocker available for purple. And 1 life on purple's side. Limited hand size. Just establishing how much Don purple still has in active and what that could mean. What kind of counters they could have. How high they can get.
Really critical turn to think through here.
Yeah.
Needs to push 2 damage with 1 blocker out.
And looks like 8 Don available.
Tapping 4.
Yep. Sables, let's get rid of that blocker. And from here, we'll probably push in for game. 6k at your leader. Let's drop some cards. Takes it.
There we go. Not far off. 1 more direct hit away from clutching victory.
Yeah. 6k.
2
Gives him
cards
2
from hand.
cards. No counters.
Coming in with
7k. This is critical here. There's the event card.
There.
All right.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Coming clutch at the right time.
Yeah.
And still got a fairly comfortable hand size.
Blue player sitting with 2 cards in hand. As we move into what looks to be 8 or 9 Don. Some big plays that can be done with this amount of energy. A Kaido here. Whew, that'd be nasty. But something like a king to pop the blocker, leave you with some Don to be able to boost your leader.
Yeah, if you could remove that that blocker, you've then got leader ability if you make the right plays. But I'm not sure if he'll be pushing for kill turn. Mapping out his Don there.
What's available to him? We know that the blocker is in hand, since it did get bounced back.
He's just asking the question, hey, if I go to try and kill you right now, are you going to stop me? And he said, maybe.
There's the king. This is the play we should have seen last game. -7.
Yeah. Just counting it out, making sure he's got the right amount.
Yeah.
Probably push in with
you probably go
swing
leader.
here.
Leader for
7k. Awkward number to count out of. Has to take it.
Bang. -7. Swing your Kaido.
See you later, life.
Yeah.
Bang. blocker in the drop, and
you need 3 super counters to get out of this attack.
That big guy's going down.
10k. Can you get to 11?
That's a confident hands in lap from purple.
Yeah. Taking his time. 10k, I repeat, 10k.
Doing the math, I don't think he can get there.
Nah, I don't think so. And if you can, you would play it, and there it is.
And that's it, that's game.
Okay, we're 1-1. How much time do we have left in this?
We have 10 minutes left in round.
Yeah, and then 5 minutes overtime.
And 5 minutes overtime, correct. So there is enough time to start at game 3.
Yeah, that game took them 17 minutes, so it is possible to get a game 3 done. We're going to be cutting it close, but both players now they need to play fast. Both of them in a position where it can go either way. So you would much rather lose by playing out your turn. You didn't see the card you needed, as opposed to losing because your opponent has more life than you.
Absolutely. This is where it's going to be really crucial. Misplays can happen by playing too fast. It's going to be really interesting to see if they can hold their nerve, push through, and also keep in mind that the way that the game will be determined, if someone doesn't manage to win, it's going to be determined by all those different win cons. So it'll go from your life first, it'll go to how many cards are left in deck. So really being aware of what they've played. Obviously, blue can play directly from deck, so that's going to be a disadvantage if it does go to equal life. So they're going to have to really think about the way that they go about this game.
Definitely. For those that don't know, the end of game mechanics, so if after the 5 minutes of overtime there isn't a clear winner, we will go to the highest number of life will win the game. In the case of a tie, then we will go to number of cards remaining in deck. In case of a tie, we will then go on to the player with more characters in their character area wins. And if both players have the same number of characters in the character area, the player who last drew from their life wins.
They're going to want to get underway as soon as possible here. A little bit slow to shuffle their decks. You've got to play the game anyway, boys.
Yeah, and a bit of an interesting kind of result here from game 1. So I have just got confirmation that it was a game loss due to slow play.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. Just confirming here if it was to purple. Well, purple won game 2, so we're going to game 3. So purple did get a game loss for slow play.
And it's interesting because if you made that play that we were talking about, playing that king like you just did that turn, it could have made all the difference, and it could have almost been a 2-0.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But good on the judges for being aware that, players are taking their time. They want to get those 3 games in. So shout out to the judges for being on top of it, for making the right calls, and difficult calls to make. You know, we saw that game go for 33 minutes in game 1, and players they've definitely picked up the speed going into game 2 as we get started.
So we're starting game 3 with under 7 minutes left. Still waiting for how they're going to start this game.
Crucial time, dwindling down.
Judges are in the channel as well, so they're obviously keeping a close eye, which is why the game loss would have been given.
Yep. And as soon as that timer is down, they will be straight onto those end of game procedures, which is great. You know, a lot of credit goes to the work that TAC put in to running these events, but also acknowledging the judges as well. You know, it's a long day for them too. We've got a new card game, new rulings, so shout out to them for sticking around. You know, I'm sure they'd love to play too, but they've given up their day to judge this event so that it all runs smoothly for the players.
Absolutely. Like these people who judge and the people who organise it, they're fans of the game.
Hmm.
They're passionate about the game. They really want to see it succeed. So, yeah, massive shout out to those people who are helping.
Yeah, and you would know better than anyone, Gary, being a massive judge and a massive kind of help into the Dragon Ball community.
Yeah, it's definitely a different way of participating in the game. I know the people who do the judging behind the scenes and they help run these events. They're people who really want to see the game grow. They want to see it do well. And it's not that they don't love playing the game because they tend to be people that 99% of the time they're always at their locals. They're always pushing the game, doing learner plays, teaching new players. And that's what you want to see. You want to be people like that supporting the game.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. And another way to support the community and things like that is following your favorite YouTube content creators. Now, shameless plug, we here at Double Sleeve, there's Umit, Gary, and I, we do content for Dragon Ball, and we'll be doing One Piece. So, and other future card games as well that we decide to get into. If you do enjoy the stream, if you are interested in checking out some of the videos from earlier today, or if you're keen to see some of the future content that we do have all the links in the chat. So jump onto our Facebook, give it a like, jump onto our YouTube. If you can give us a sub, we really do appreciate it.
It looks like they're just clearing up things a little bit with the setup here. Trying to see who's going to go first. Still 4 minutes. It has taken a long time to get this game set up. But there is the judge is in the channel there, keeping an eye on things, probably talking through what's supposed to be happening. Looks like they might be doing a judge shuffle to randomize the cards in hand.
Okay, yeah, I think that there was a couple of cards knocked off the top of the deck, just as a bit of a hasty kind of shuffle. So perhaps too many cards were drawn into the hand, and now they're establishing a randomized amount being put back into the deck.
Yeah, so what happens with the judge shuffle, it's really challenging with the online events, but essentially what you do is you put the cards in question back in the hand, you get them randomized, and then generally you'll lay them out and have a card number. In this instance, it might have been 1 to 7, and the judge will then select the cards, which will go back onto the deck, and then the deck will get reshuffled, and that's how you can do it in an online event.
Yep. So again, the beauty of having these judges in the table for these high level events, once we get into these higher rounds, they can immediately make those calls and make the right kind of play so that no player is at an advantage.
And see the blocker coming down there really early, really good, especially in this high tense situation where you want to protect that life as much as possible. Quick turns.
I believe the people took the life.
Yeah, it definitely took one life. Never seen cards go sideways so quickly in my life.
Yeah, we are rapidly getting through these turns.
If there was a chess timer, that would be the best way to play.
5 Don available to blue. Swinging for 7. Let's get you down to 3.
Really wants him to take it. He's taking it.
He's taking it. Bang, blocker.
Going to put you into a very, very risky spot, taking that many life this early, especially if purple can't get those quick, aggressive cards out. So I think it's going to put blue in a very, very comfortable spot.
Yeah, players do need to be mindful. I understand you want to play as quick as possible, but keep it as clean as possible as well. It'll save you time. You see that player, he rapidly put his Don into his cost area, then drew his card, and he's doing things so fast, he didn't remember really, how much Don he had. He's got to recount it. We see the 6 Don Barracchio Bomber to remove that blocker.
Not a bad play, but I think still in a fairly tough spot.
Just confirming the card. Blue is comfortable. They're calm. They're collected. They're 2 life up, whereas purple is hastily getting through these turns.
Yeah, I think it's going to end up hurting him in the end if he doesn't think through these plays properly. This is where mistakes happen.
Yeah. 2 Don. Under the leader, swinging you for 7. Do we know how much time is left?
So we are down to the last minute before overtime. Keep in mind, because of a few things, the judges can also give time extensions, whether they have or not, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it is possible for time extensions depending on what situations happen.
Yeah, and when you start getting into judge rulings and shuffling cards back in, it is likely that time extensions can be given for both players. But we see 3 cards getting dropped to counter out of that 7k Kaido swing, and we're probably going to see a bump onto the leader. Nope, just keeping it at 5. We're going to leave our cards in hand at this point and potentially use this energy to play out some blockers or a Gecko Moria.
The forecast coming back to hand to tap another 3.
Bang.
And you got another blocker ready to go. And over to you, sir.
Pay 6 and remove this one.
Really smart plays, like knowing in this tense situation, it's okay to dump 3 cards from your hand to stop that attack from going through. You want to keep your life as high as possible. But we see the big guy coming down now.
Yeah, and how quickly did we get to 10 energy? Or 10
very quickly. We started this game with 3 minutes. We currently have just got into overtime by 20 seconds, and we're already at 10 done.
Yeah.
We've got the Croc player taking the first life there, second life.
Both players at 3 now, I believe. And a big turn for blue here with 9 done available.
Yeah, but I think can definitely put on quite a bit of pressure if these are pumped correctly.
Yep.
But a large hand side.
6k. Interesting.
Mapped out his Don. He knows what he wants to spend it on.
Yeah. Super
and we've got the first counter out.
Yep.
2 Don buff.
7k. Show me 3 cards. Alright, another super counter and a 1000 counter. And Croc SR comes down. We've got the blocker and the Trafalgar Law. Double blocker. We're
sitting pretty.
Yeah, that's a good position. This is it. This is for all the marbles. This is to put you in a winning position. Round 7, going up against another undefeated player for your chance to win a numbered Luffy. You know, you can't have more higher stakes than this unless you're 1 hour forward in the same position. And another Brachio Bomber comes down.
Another 6.
Yeah. KOing that SR.
Coming in clutch, seeing the right cards at the right time. Fast plays, fast draws, fast pops. Your Don's upside down, sir.
We have seen upside down Don, sideways Don, right way Don, now upside down Don.
And it has not triggered my OCD once.
It's so difficult with those black sleeves to distinguish the different amount of cards. They just look like black holes. Like that Don is an unlocked character.
It's like they're the world's darkest paint. So buffing by 3, so this is an 8k swing using the blocker there.
Yeah.
Also taking 1 life, no triggers off the life.
We're both down to 2. This is critical. We're getting into dangerous territory with a 10,000.
He has just popped 7 of his Don to deal extra damage. We're going to need to see a lot of aggression from the Croc player this.
Yeah, perhaps realizing how much time is left. Because
we're 3 minutes into overtime.
2 minutes left. Oh,
this is where you might see the brakes come on a little bit.
Yeah.
Thinking through this final play.
Yeah. How much Don does... so, Purple has 3 Don available, which will be 5 active, 1 rested with the stage, available the following turn. You know, the first thing that comes to mind that is a possible play is a 10k leader swing, followed by a 10k Kaido character card swing, provided there's no blockers, depending on how much Don's available, things like that. But Purple is feeling the pressure. Blue mapping out his turn. How high do I want to go?
Thinking about Buffing by
8K.
3.
Yep, 8K into leader. How many ultis have you seen? Not enough.
Taking the damage. Trigger off the life.
Oh, it's a who's who. Isn't able to KO anything, but we do get the battle card on field. Doesn't have a counter, so you're fine playing that out. It's a 9K swing. Here, they're leaving 3
Purple is
Don.
looking really comfortable at the moment. 4 minutes and 30 seconds into overtime, only 3 Don active. This is a high stress situation.
It is. I'm stressed.
How much Don can a Don player Don?
Not too sure what's happening here, but we've seen the 9,000 swing. Perhaps
So it's a
deciding.
swing.
Yeah, okay.
Tapping 3.
For the Sentomaru.
Not going to help
I
much
think,
now.
yeah, I
That's
think blue-
hitting
that-
hand knowing that it's pretty
Yeah. I
bad.
think perhaps the time has been called.
We've hit 5 minutes of overtime.
Yeah.
And
I
we
think
can
that's
see
it.
the purple player at 2 life. We have Croc at 1.
Yeah. And
will
you
rule in
don't, you
favour.
do not resolve the attack. I believe once time is called and overtime is called, that is it. It is done. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this blue player may live out in the
But
countryside.
he's taking the damage.
Oh, okay. So perhaps we've resolved the attack.
Down to 1 each. So
Yep.
then it will come down to how many cards left in deck. But again, keep in mind there could potentially be a little bit of overtime here.
Yeah.
So while we have hit the overtime timer, because of a few judge rulings, they may have put on a couple of minutes extra.
And yeah, happy to. Okay, we're counting deck. This is it.
All right.
Yeah, this is it. This is what it comes down to. That last attack just sneaking in. So I think the purple player is asking to move his cards to the side just to distinguish the cards in deck.
Yeah, needs to be
didn't get
nice
a
and
count.
clean
I
so the
didn't get a
judge can
count
see.
on the blue player. Did anyone in chat happen to get a count on the blue player? Counting it out. This is tense. This decides who goes to round 7.
Looks like 36. I believe it was 36 for the purple player.
Yeah, we see a bit of a hand movement from blue. I think purple may have gotten it.
Did anyone in the chat get a count on the Croc player?
We're just waiting for the official ruling here. Judges are working to go through. We didn't see much draw coming out from either of these decks. You know, I don't think the Sentomaru was resolved this game. He opted for the blockers.
Definitely wasn't. Who went first?
I believe blue went first, so purple would be the first to draw. I think they're perhaps, yeah, look, we're seeing some clapping from purple. He's taken the win, yeah.
Unfortunate way to finish the game, but at the end of the day, this is how they're ruled, and this is why you really need to be mindful when you're playing any TCG, what the rules state, what the floor rules are, and the best way to go about end of time procedure.
Yeah. And look, purple played extremely well game 2 and 3. The credit to them, you know, we're not going to take it away from them for getting the game loss for time. They played quick game 2, they played quick game 3, and it just happened to be the end of round procedures was in their favor. They were in a good position. Should we be playing out the game as well? But I think we're maybe just counting the total amount of cards, just to confirm that it is the 50. And yeah, with the heads down for blue. If I'm not mistaken, I believe I might have played this blue player at a super pre-release out in Albury, if it is the same guy, and he was able to take down the event with this Croc deck. So, if it is the same player, he was extremely smooth. Yeah, a great game that we had, and happened to beat me. If it's not the same player, well, he played extremely well to get here as well anyway.
Absolutely. Frustrating to make it all the way this far and then have a tough matchup, but like I said, well done to Purple. Obviously, you played very well to get here.
Yeah. Yeah, and just we'll take a quick